Welcome to this demonstration of contributorcredits.com. In order to get to contributor credits, you just type in contributorcredits.com and you'll see this landing page which has some information about what they are and how they work. For a longer description explanation, you can click here and that will take you to a blog post. In order to use the app, we just click Open App and it'll bring us to this screen. So it's important to connect a wallet. There'll be a button that says Connect Wallet. In fact, we can probably, I can show you that. Let's just disconnect this wallet, disconnect. So you'll see this screen and it'll ask you to connect your Ethereum wallet. So we click Connect, ask for approval. Let's connect this test account. And we're connected, and we'll see our wallet address here. So the next thing you need to do is add a test, or add your email address. So we'll do a test email address here, and click Create Account. And so that we'll create your account, and when you log in, you can see this is your wallet address here. You can conveniently copy it. There's some user settings here. It also tells you what network you're on. And so for now, we're going to be using the test network because then we can make transactions without having to pay Ethereum fees. But this works on Polygon, Ethereum, and the Ropsten test network. So to switch to that test network, it's just this button up here if you're using MetaMask, and that the network settings are in Settings in Coinbase Wallet, but different apps have different ways of doing it. In MetaMask, we just click here and click this, and if we were to switch to Ethereum, then it would switch the whole network to Ethereum on the page. It would switch back to the test network. Now, in order to use the test network, you need testing ETH. And so you can click this link and put in your address and wait a few minutes and they'll send you fake ETH that you can use for testing. So the first thing we want to do is create the base smart contract that we will use to pay contributors. So in order to do that, you just click Publish this class to Ropsten. And then again, we have to confirm. And then we have to wait possibly even a few minutes for this process to take place. If you're interested in seeing what's going on, we can look here and we can see in the wallet that transaction is processing. Okay, so when it's finished, let's just see here. Oh, this isn't reflecting it as quickly. Okay, but it's finished. So we have an unestablished contract, and basically all this is it's just a kind of a blank contract with no smart contract, with no triggers defined, no legal text. So the second step is to define the triggers, add them to the legal text, and then add that text to the smart contract. To do that, we click Establish. And here is a page that lets you fill out this predefined legal text. And so I recommend that you read through it, but I'll take you through the form so that you can see how it works. So for example, we name the organization. You want to use the full legal name. So let's do then give the class a title. And here we select a backing token. These are both US dollar pegged stablecoins, and the backing token is the thing that the contract is going to be promising that people will receive when the business hits the triggers. So the options we give here are stablecoins because most people want to know what they're going to be making in dollars. There will be more options, such as other cryptocurrencies, but generally people will be using stablecoins. So we select which one. It doesn't really matter. USDC is kind of the easiest for people to understand because it's just US dollar coin. So we click that. Then we set a financing trigger. So that to keep things simple, let's just say that if the company raises $20,000. And then we also set a 12-month trailing revenue trigger. And you can see how these are being filled in here. We set both of these triggers because we want to make sure that every path to success for the business is accounted for. If somebody promises to pay when they reach 20 million in investment or 20,000 in investment, but they never take an investment and instead become successful via revenue, we want to make sure that contributors still get paid. And there's also a third trigger that has to do with a sale. So if the business is sold, then the obligation to pay the contributors is also triggered, except we add kind of a protection in here so that the obligation can only be as large as the proceeds of the sale, so that we don't want a business to end up having to pay contributors more than they actually raised in the sale. But I recommend reading through this contract and seeing if you have any questions, but it's pretty straightforward. And so the triggers are described. What currency are we describing these triggers in? So is it when we raise $20 million? Is it 20 million euros? In this case, we'll use dollars. And so right now, what this says altogether is that if the business raises $20,000 in financing, or it reaches a 12-month trailing revenue of $7,000, then it must pay the backing currency, which is USDC, to the contract so that the contributors can cash in and get their money. So I'll add a signature here. And what's happening is all of this text together is creating this hash. And this hash is the result of the specific characters that are in this text. And so in the future, somebody could always go back and check, and if they have this hash, and say, was this the exact text that was agreed to? So that's the point of the hash, to kind of be able to confirm the exact text in the future. And so then we finally just click sign and establish and click confirm. And what's happening here is it's taking that hash and it's sticking that hash in the smart contract that we created before. And that's what ties them together. And so we save the legal agreement. Every contributor who is a payee on this class can have access to that agreement, and they can always take that agreement, put it into a form that we have, and use it to confirm that that's the actual text that's tied to the smart contract. Okay, so that finished, and now we have our new class. So the next step is to actually pay somebody with it. And so what we're going to do for that is I'm going to take another account and copy its address. And we'll go back to this one. And so here we have the class. And so there's a short summary describing what we put in the contract. There's the address of the smart contract in case somebody wants to look at it on any of the scanners. And then basic information about the status of the contract. And then here we'll see payments when we've made them. So let's try making a payment. We click pay credits, and then we'll take that address that I copied from my other account. And let's say we want to pay 300 credits. And then you can add a note if there's a particular purpose for this payment. In many cases, you're just going to be paying individuals, and so you don't need a particular note. But say, for example, you want to use it as a way to take a loan, to record a loan to your own business. We just put this here in case people have use cases like that. And so this says we're going to pay this address, 300 credits. Let's click it. And you click confirm. And then we wait for that transaction to go through. Okay, so we have that transaction. We see that payment to the person's address. So now we can easily copy their address, say we want to make another payment. So for example, if we wanted to pay this person again, and we logged in and we didn't have their address already, click copy, and then we can just paste it right here. So that is the process of paying. And now we have an obligation of 300 credits, which means when we reach the trigger, we have to pay out at this point 300 credits. And so, in fact, if we refresh, we can see that reflected directly from the chain here. So we can see here that the total paid out is 300 credits. And so what we do in the future is we click Fund Contract, and we can send as much money as we want to at any point. But typically what you would do is you'd click Fully Fund, and then you'd click Fund, and then you'd approve another transaction. But instead, let's go and see what it's like from the perspective of the person receiving. So let's connect that wallet, and I've already created an account here, so they can see the same class, except here it doesn't show that they're the owners of the class like it does on the other account. This one just shows that they've received credits, so they can see total paid, the total amount of credits that they hold, and the current funding, which of course right now is 0 because we haven't funded it. And what they can do is they can cash in or relinquish credits. And there's reasons for both. So cashing in would mean that they cash in the credits and then they receive whatever money is in the contract proportional to the credits they have. And if it's fully funded, then that would mean one of the backing token, US dollars, USDC, in exchange for every credit. But they can choose how many credits they want to cash in at any time. The other option is to relinquish credits, and the reason that you might do that is to trade them for something else. And so contributors who have earned, for example, 100,000 credits and have created this big obligation and are continuing with the project, they're good candidates for maybe equity in the future. And so when that time comes along, when the trigger comes along, they can negotiate for equity instead of cash if they would like. And so you just fill that out and click cash out credits and go through the process. And that is how it works.